We discussed yesterday Marjorie Taylor Greene's failure. She tried to oust Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, and it did not go the way that she was hoping, and Mike Johnson was resoundingly protected. And so in the wake of that, Donald Trump posted a video directed at Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, it seems like, given when this was posted, when he would probably have recorded it, that this maybe was recorded before she actually called this to a vote, and thus before it was found out that this was going to fail. But Trump is asking Marjorie Taylor Greene, and this is still sort of relevant because she's acting as if maybe she's going to go at it again and this is not over and all that sort of nonsense. He's publicly calling out Marjorie Taylor Greene, even though he says he very much loves her, and saying you need to shut it down. All right, this is not working, and we'll talk about why Trump is publicly asking her to shut this effort down, because it could end up backfiring electorally. But here is Trump with a message to Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I absolutely love Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's got spirit, she's got fight, she's got spunk, and I believe she'll be around and on our side for a long time to come.
Yikes.
However, right now, Republicans have to be fighting the radical left Democrats, lunatics, I call them, and all of the damage they have done to our country. With a majority of one shortly growing to 3 or 4, we hope, we're not in a position of voting on a motion to vacate. At some point, we may very well be, but this is not the time. We're leading in the presidential polls by a lot, both nationally and in the swing states, and I mean by a lot. Likewise, we're doing well in the...
Of course, polling has been shifting in some positive ways towards Biden recently.
Senate, and I believe we will do well in the House. But if we show disunity, which will be portrayed as chaos by the Democrats and the fake news media, it will negatively affect everything. Mike Johnson is a good man, a very good man who's trying very hard. But I also wish certain things were done over the last period of 2 or 3 months. So
that's Trump's message, and we'll get to Marjorie Taylor Greene in an interview responding to the failure. But there, even Trump is identifying that if Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't cut these antics out, even though it's sort of her taking after the leader Trump and just prioritizing chaos and self-serving stunts, but he even sees that if she doesn't stop this, it's just going to be shooting Republicans in the foot. Because right now, Americans are already weary of this constant chaos and the constant noise and the lack of serious governance from the House majority. And that's why I think that if the world made any sense, Democrats would win a majority in the House in November. And so Trump understands, with all of his big talk about polling and whatever else, with all of the political issues he has and the toxicity that comes with his candidacy, adding to it the representation of MAGA in Congress being up to this and reminding people it's not that Mike Johnson is this incredible person we have to protect. It's that this is yet another example of the MAGA contingent, in this case MTG, wanting to throw Congress into chaos. And also her demands are just absolutely nuts. We've talked about defund the DOJ. Yikes. And don't give any aid to Ukraine and some other elements as well. And so that is just a reminder to Americans that there's one serious governing party right now, and it's not the Republican Party, because of MAGA's presence in that party. And that should already be so apparent to enough Americans to defeat Republicans in November, but Marjorie Taylor Greene attempting to throw the House into chaos and go through the whole speakership debacle again is not exactly the thing that Trump and his party running in this election need going into November. Now, a good example of the contrast, again, I always come back to it, there's a big difference in the priorities of Democrats versus Republicans, especially in the House of Representatives. And so you might be wondering, Luke, you seem to mention quite often the infrastructure law, the PACT Act, the Chips and Science Act, the Inflation Reduction Act, etc. Surely you could list off some things Republicans have been doing now that they're in the House majority, because that list came from when Democrats had the majority in the House. What about when Republicans have the House majority? Well, essentially nothing. They've been accomplishing very, very little, so much so that they're the second least productive House in American history. And a good example of this playing out is an incredible speech that Hakeem Jeffries delivered on the House floor, making fun of his colleagues for attempting to, and we'll watch this, then we'll get to Marjorie Taylor Greene's response to the failure in an interview with Steve Bannon. And here, Hakeem Jeffries calls out the fact that while Democrats are focused on consequential issues, Republicans are trying to make culture war issues out of appliance regulations. And so, as we've talked about, they try to fearmonger, saying Biden's coming for your gas stove and he's going to take your dishwasher and he's going to make it to where you don't have any water in your water heater or something. And it's inaccurate. In reality, these regulations are saving consumers money, or in the case of gas stoves, making it to where the companies, the producers of these appliances, have to make it more safe so that consumers aren't having health issues because of the emissions. But here is Hakeem Jeffries pointing this out.
And it turns out the signature piece of legislation for the extreme MAGA Republicans this week, this month, this year is Hands Off Our Home Appliances Act. This is what we are dealing with on this magical House floor, with all of the challenges that the American people are confronting. Liberty for laundry, defending the dignity of dishwashers, fighting for freedom of refrigerators. This is what we're doing? Can't make it up. You can't make it up. As House Democrats, we are going to defend democracy. Extreme MAGA Republicans working on defending the dignity of dishwashers. As House Democrats, we are going to protect and strengthen Social Security. Extreme MAGA Republicans apparently interested in protecting gas stoves against phony accusations of oppression. House Democrats are going to defend reproductive freedom.
And he continues, but just incredible stuff there from Hakeem Jeffries. And it's true. Why? Why are they doing that? Why is Marjorie Taylor Greene trying to lead this effort to constantly be challenging the establishment and the uniparty? Why are other Republicans focused on protecting gas stoves when there's no need for them to be protected? Why are all these different investigations going on into who knows what? To distract mostly their voters, but the American people at large, from the fact that they're not actually accomplishing things that materially benefit their lives, that actually benefit their lives. They'll tell you it benefits your life, but you're not actually going to see that benefit where it matters. And when Democrats are able to get up in a campaign and say, look, just on paper, here's how we lowered prescription drug costs or protected Social Security, or here's how we invested in infrastructure projects in your communities. You can look on this map exactly which project is where. That is going to be really hard to campaign against if your response is, we ousted Kevin McCarthy and we found out that Biden is definitely corrupt. We're about to find the smoking gun. Don't worry. It's not going to be a great campaign. So they have to throw a lot of these distractions to make people think they're doing something that's in their interest when it's not. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene reflecting on her failure yesterday.
Congressman Greene now joins us.
Every time, by the way, Steve Bannon says the name Congresswoman Greene, he sounds like he's saying Congressman Greene. It cracks me up.
Congressman Greene now joins us. Congressman Greene now joins us. I consider that a huge victory yesterday, part of the unmasking. This is a process. Trust the process. It's going to take time. But what a great start yesterday. You went in there and in front of all America and all the world. You heard the K Street money just absolutely through the instruments of the Democratic Party and the Republican people that have been bought off, booed you, lustily. Your thoughts, ma'am?
Well, that was exactly what I expected, Steve. And I think it was a great victory yesterday. It was a great victory for the American people to see the truth, for the curtain to be drawn back and them to see the ugly truth. The uniparty is alive and well in the people's house. Now, that's where...
Okay, I don't know if I can even continue to listen to this. Let's just stop for all of our sake. But really, I said it previously, she lives in such a bubble. Nobody wanted this except for a sliver of a sliver of a sliver. Even most MAGA voters don't understand what's going on here, don't really care about it. It's a sliver of Steve Bannon's audience that was hyped up about Mike Johnson maybe being ousted. The rest of the world is thinking, who is this buffoon and what is she doing? And she doesn't get that. This was a huge win. We were able to expose that the Uniparty doesn't want us to have the House thrown to chaos. Oh, what a bombshell. I'll leave it there. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments.